position. Your legs can be
It's the other.
Crossed, like just, yeah, ankles or soles of your feet together. Whoops. Guess I got my screen different. There's also a choice here that you can make by sitting on your heels. One half doesn't know the other. For some people, that can be a little intense for their needs. But we want to just kind of connect with our breathing, focusing the breathing. So it's just inhaling and exhaling, but nothing really super crazy deep. You just feel your inhale and your chest and belly expand. And then as you exhale, sort of draw your navel back towards your spine. Just focus a little bit on taking the crown of your head toward the ceiling, relaxing your shoulders away from your ears. And then make your way down to your wrists, your hands and fingers. Maybe you open and close your fingers. And then just relax your hands down. Now let's together drop the chin down toward the chest, stretching the back of your neck while maintaining this very tall posture. You might feel this creep down into your mid-back. And some of you will feel it out to your necks. And then as we take our next breath, we're going to let the head go back, chin going toward the ceiling, opening through your throat and your clavicles here. Letting your head go back as much as you're comfortable. Some people can really let their head drop back. There's some of us, we want to just go a little bit less deep. Now together, as we let the jaw come back to a parallel position, we're going to reach that right ear over toward the right shoulder, feeling the left side of the neck get a nice little stretch here. Now as we let the chin go down toward the chest, it's going to go a little half circle here. We'll let the left ear go over toward the left shoulder. Now you can start to move through your pace, the chin going back down toward the chest, then the right ear toward the right shoulder. And if it feels like you need to be on one side a little bit longer than then you can just listen to your body. Stay on your right side for a little longer or your left side a little longer, whatever works for you. Really checking in with your own body. One side might feel dramatically different than the other. Well, a lot of stress in our shoulders, so we're just trying to get rid of some of that before we get started. And then as you take that left ear from your left shoulder and just take your time getting there, we slowly ease our way back up to our neutral position. Now to have the crown of your head toward the ceiling, you might need to tuck your chin a little bit. And as we take our next deep breath, we'll reach the right arm out and the left arm is going to come over and past your ear, stretching through the whole side of that body. Hips stay planted on the floor. We're just reaching through the trunk. Some of you will be able to put that forearm right down to the floor. I'm not feeling that today, that kind of depth. Then we come up and over and go the other way. Ooh. And you might find a distinct difference from your right and your left, right? So don't worry about that. Just enjoy the stretch. Again, holding longer on one side if you need a little bit more hold. Now we're going to add a little bit of something to this move. As you reach over this next time with your right arm going to the right, I want you to find that deep stretch and then take your gaze up towards your left elbow. Then look down towards your right hand. Feel that stretch in your neck and shoulders. Then come up and over. And as you reach with that right arm, we're going to take our gaze to the right elbow and then down toward the left hand. Good. Now when we come back up to center, we'll land right back to our neutral position. But now the hands reach down toward the floor. So if you can walk your fingertips out a little bit further, you'll feel this maybe in your traps. I feel it a lot today. So you reach your fingertips out, just lengthening through those arms. Now take your chin to your chest. And you might feel a little bit of something different there, right? All the way down into that mid-back or into your shoulders more. Now take your gaze toward the ceiling. Continuing with that nice fluid breath all the way through these. You might start to feel this down into your biceps. Then take your jaw to parallel with the floor. And then let's take the hands to the knees. So we're going to start warming up the rest of our bodies from chest, back, hips down. We're going to grab onto the knees and pull the chest forward like you're leading with your chin. Pushing off your left thigh, you're going to circle around, rounding your back, then coming over to the right, stirring up the pot. I said this the other day and a few people laughed, but as I get near the end of a jar of peanut butter, I get out a spatula to get as much as I possibly can out of that last little bit of the jar. That's what this kind of reminds me of. We're going all the way around, all those nooks and crannies. If you apply gentle pressure on your knees as you go around here, you can feel that little extra stretch in your hip. Feel your back getting that nice stretch. Now as we come forward with the head and chest and chin, let's just reverse that circle, pushing off the left thigh and reversing it around and around. This is really nice first thing in the morning, especially if you've been doing some gardening or some stuff around the house that you wake up in the morning and kind of feel like you need an oil can. This is your oil can. Getting those joints nice and warmed up. Blood flow going gently. All right, now as we come forward with that head and chest and chin kind of forward, let's start to walk the hands out in front of us. Oh my goodness. If your forearms can get to the floor, good for you. Mine aren't quite there, but let your head fall forward. Regardless, we're going to all feel this. Whether your range of motion is super duper deep or not, I expect that your body will feel these stretches, so just let that go. Let the head, neck, and shoulders, even your jaw. You might find yourself clenching your teeth or your eyes. Just relax them, feeling that inhale and exhale as your breath expands your rib cage. Good. Now we're going to slowly ease our way up. Ooh-wee. And take your hands to your sides. Now as we unfold the legs, one at a time, you can probably feel the blood flow start from those knees down, right into your shins and into your toes and your feet. So give them a little wiggle, maybe a little windshield wiper move back and forth. And then we're going to make our way to our all fours. So walking your way to your all fours, we're going to open up those hands just as wide as you possibly can. Each finger as separate from each other as they can be. Your weight is as much in your fingertips as it is into the heel of your hands. And then walk your shoulders right over the top. Now, if you sink in your belly down here, you're kind of sending your tailbone back behind you. So we want to engage the abs just enough to find a really nice flat back. As your gaze comes forward, it's almost like you're creating a little double chin here. You sort of tuck your chin in. Not super far so you're, rounding your back, but just tuck it in a little bit here and let that belly go down toward the floor. And now take your gaze and your tailbone toward the sky. And then arch up and sway down. And again, you're going at the speed that feels most comfortable for you, really rounding up and swaying down. You can bend your elbows here, explore some more space here as you're arching up and swaying down. Good. Now we'll make our way back to our neutral position. The gaze staying just between the hands at first here. We're going to send that right hand over toward the left side of the mat. So now we're kind of making a sort of a, when we do that map of Michigan, but the fingertips are still going to stay wide apart. So our upper Michigan's going to look like this, above that left hand. Now, as you send your hips over toward the right, oh, feel that rib cage stretch. Breathe through it. Come up to center. Take the right hand back where it started. Left hand goes over that right, and then send the hips back. Oh, boy. I can feel this through my armpit and all the way down my rib cage. And then back up to center. Let's take that left hand back, reach your arms way out in front of you now, and we're going to send the hips to the sky. So a little forehead toward the floor, your bottom way up in the air. It's almost like you're a puppy getting ready to play, right? So your hips are way high. Feeling the stretch through the shoulders and the back. Good. Now when we slowly ease our way back up, we're going to walk the hands back under the shoulders. Let's curl the toes under here and send our hips back toward the heels to a prayer position here. So now we've got, it's almost like a, curl my toes under. I want you to be able to see that. There you go. And you've got your hands at your heart. Stretching through these quads, feeling the toes, stretch the tops of your feet. A modification here could be up, right? So not as much weight on toward your heels. Good. Now as you release your hands down, again, we're going to uncurl those feet. So now the tops of your feet are back onto the floor, and then send your hips back toward the heels. Reach out here for a little child's pose. As you reach your arms out, we're going to feel the stretch through your back, your shoulders, you almost into your armpits here. Then let the forehead fall forward, and then let your arms get heavy. So as your arms get heavy, you just feel everything get nice and soft. Your heels may or may not feel the contact of your hips. That's neither here nor there. You're getting a nice stretch here, so don't worry about your hips coming to your heels or not. Together, let's drag the hands back so that we're palms up facing right next to those feet. Let your shoulders shrug forward. Feeling the stretch in your back, spreading those muscles away from each other. Good, and now we'll walk the hands right underneath the shoulders. shift one hip over to the side, and we're going to sweep our feet all the way out. Oh, boy, you're going to feel that blood flow again. So gentle yoga, it's all about being kind to your body today. So a little bend and straighten with your knees. We're going to really break down some very, very basic poses today. Obviously, you know, when we do yoga, whether it's gentle or not, you're working your body. So you'll feel some of these things tomorrow, and we'll hold a little bit longer, and we'll try to really find some length. So what we're first going to do is everybody's going to start with their toes pointed toward the sky and the knees bent. Now, where we go range of motion wise will be wildly different, but let's start here together. So the toes are pointed toward the sky, and we're going to keep our back nice and flat and just hug the belly toward the thighs. Now you can start to use your hands, walk your way down your legs, and just take your gaze to your feet. So as you do this, you see how my back is still flat, like I'm not rounding here. I've still got some flatness, and I can start to extend my feet. So for those of you that know you can just put the hands right on the soles of the feet and lengthen your legs all the way out, you can go there right now if you're comfortable. For me, this is going to be, I'm going to ease this out. Now I have found today that my range of motion is too strained to put my hands on my feet, so I'm going to hang on to my ankles. Then let the head fall forward and a nice little seated forward fold. One of the poses I find most challenging in yoga is seated forward fold. So if that's true for you and you've always thought, oh, I thought I was broken, you're not. Good, now on your next deep breath, we'll just ease our way up. Let those legs lengthen all the way out. We're gonna lift and, you know, one knee at a time, and then we'll find our way to staff pose, and then we'll start working through that forward fold again. So staff pose, we press those hands right into the ground, lengthening the arms. For those of you that have arms longer than your trunk, you might need a little softness in your elbow. If you have yoga blocks, you can put them there. And, you know, if you have shorter arms like I do here. Now we're going to just tuck that chin just a little toward the chest, but push the sternum forward. And look at how flat your back is. Yeah. Now, as you pull the toes toward your shins, this is a deceptively challenging pose. You're still breathing. This is one that sometimes takes people's breath away. So find your breath. Feeling all that healthy tension in the quads, in the calves, pulling those toes toward your shins, your chest forward. You start to feel things tremble and give you a little signals that it is working. And release. Now as you soften those toes forward, give them a little reach here. Let's go back to our softly bent knees. Now as we start to tip the back forward, again, belly toward the thighs, maybe we can get a little deeper here. So I'm going to reach with my thumb fingers toward my toes, and then let it go. So I've got a little more depth here, and then let the head fall forward. Releasing that back, drawing your navel back toward your spine as you inhale and exhale. And let's release here slowly, bit by bit, coming all the way up. Roll those shoulders back. And now we have our posture. So here's our foundation to start with, right? So we'll start by taking the left leg into the right thigh. It sort of creates a number 4 here. And we're going to open our body so that the left hand can rest on the left thigh and the right hand can reach toward the foot. Now, toward is the operative word. If you cannot get all the way to your foot, that's okay. Just reach to the calf or the ankle. And then as you open your body, you can release that. If your left hip is really loving this gentle pressure from your left hand, keep it there. But if you need a little bit more stretch through your trunk, then you reach with that left arm. Those fingers reach. Some of you might even be able to take the left fingers to the right toes. That's more trunk flexibility than I have. You take your gaze up toward your left elbow for a moment, and then maybe look down toward that right knee. Now let's just rotate the trunk toward that right leg. And now both arms for me are not going to be able to reach my foot, but they'll reach toward the calf, and I let my head fall forward. Let the jaw relax, the eyes relax, the neck. And then we'll slowly ease our way all the way back up, nice and tall. Take your left hand to your right thigh. Your right hand is going to work as a little kickstand here, and we'll look over that right shoulder. And as we release back, we're going to extend that left leg out. All right, let's see where we're getting with our forward fold now. Let's pull those knees in just a little, leading with the belly toward the thighs. Reach out toward the feet. Feels like I'm able to get a little deeper. Drawing your belly in, keeping your back flat. Lengthen your legs as much as you feel like you can, and let your head fall forward. Beautiful. Now we slowly take yourself all the way up, bone by bone, stacking that spine up nice and tall again. And then we're going to leave that left foot all the way out, flexing the toes toward the shin. Let's take the right leg in. And again, as we create this number 4, maybe the sole of your foot comes a little closer to your perineum on one side than the other. It's definitely the case for me on this side. We're going to keep that foot nice and active so this thigh is firm. Put your right hand on that right thigh. We kind of twist the body toward the right and reach with that left hand toward the foot. And then again, we can reach the hand overhead or keep that hand placed on your right thigh. Listen to what your body is interested in having today. And it may be different than on the left side, right? So just honor your body and do what it feels really good for you today. Feeling the expansion and contraction of your rib cage as you breathe here. And together, let's rotate till we're facing that leg, reaching with both arms. Let your forehead fall forward. And then slowly ease your way back up, bone by bone. Now take that right hand to the left thigh and twist, looking over your left shoulder. And as we release that, we come back to center. That right leg goes all the way out. All right, let's take a forward fold without bending the knees here. Now we'll reach the arms up overhead and just let yourself fold forward. You'll find that depth that works for you. Your hands can be behind your knees or at the bottoms of your feet. You know, we have every different range of motion here. And let the head fall forward. Actually, it's my belly that's getting in the way of reaching any further. Now that pandemic waistline I have. Eyes looking toward your knees, letting your head fall forward. We work with the body that we have, right? So let that just be what it is. Beautiful. Now we'll just slowly ease our way back up. Ooh, and roll the shoulders back. Now I'm going to adjust my positions just so you can see what I'm doing, but we're going to do a little work through our upper bodies, shoulders, you know, relaxing that tension through the neck. So we'll take it bit by bit from wrists all the way up into the shoulders, and then we'll get some really nice deep hip stretches as well. So first we're just going to circle out the wrists, just get that blood circulating. We've already had them doing a lot of work supporting us. And then we'll reach that right hand, just push it forward like, you know, like the Supremes. Stop. And then pull your fingers back toward your forearm. Can you have a little soft bend in your elbow? Absolutely. Absolutely. But if it feels good to have your leg or your arm locked out, go ahead and lock it out. Now, this is one especially for those of you that have been on your computers and working a lot with those hands throughout the day on your computer. You should probably be doing some stretches like this from time to time throughout the day. As you release this, you're going to take now your hand and your fingers coming toward the underside of your wrist. Now you can do this here too. People who are cutting hair or, you know, those small movements with your hands, your wrists get really weary. That's a good way to stretch that as well. Good, so then we release that, circle it out. Now we are going to create a little body weight for this. So we're going to take the hand and try to place the heel of your hand into the mat. Now you can start to explore. Can it be further back here? Should it be closer here? And then just be very gentle with it. You know, discomfort is sometimes part of stretching your muscles, but pain should not be involved. Should feel the stretch, breathing through it, being gentle with your body. And then as we release it, ooh, we circle that baby out. It's going to come right across the front of your body. So now we're stretching the outside of this shoulder. Goes over here. Now, if you can reach back and grab your shoulder blade, that's cool. And then what do you do with, you know, exploring that stretch? Lift and lower your elbow. Right about there, I'm really feeling it. And then you can relax those fingers back there. Good. Straighten arm, and lifting and lowering through that elbow, finding that sweet spot. Now let's look over that shoulder. Good, and then we'll release that. All right, we start all over with the left hand. Pushing out your fingers, open them up nice and wide, and then just kind of pull them forward. Got a dog that's protesting my ignoring him right now, so I hope you can ignore him. Pull your fingers toward the underside of your forearm. He might be just protesting somebody walking by our house. Does that a lot too. Good. Now we're going to make our way to that hand being down on the mat. If you find a big difference from one arm to the other, that is not unusual. Because of course we have a hand that's dominant. For me, it would be my right hand, and I use it most of the time. But your left hand does completely, you know, your non-dominant hand has a whole bunch of different tasks it performs through the day that you might not even notice. Right now, this is so tight for me. Just play around with where you're really getting a nice stretch here. Leaning back and forward, finding that sweet spot. Good, and as we release it, ooh, that blood flow back in there. And now we take this one around that body. Maybe you can reach back and embrace your shoulder blades here. And again, where we go with this elbow. Find out what works, and then you can relax that left hand back there. Maybe circle it out. Yeah, I want to invite you to explore those places, because you know it's complex. If you were to Google the shoulder complex back there, wow, what attaches your arms to your body, there's a lot of stuff going on. You've got tendons and joints and muscles, and you know, we use them all day long. All right, let's go ahead and release that. Now we're going to take both hands together, interlace your fingers, push your palms toward me. Now you can almost feel your shoulder blades when they retract. They're back here like this, and you push out. Now we're taking that whole complex forward. Let your chin go down towards your chest. Now, as you keep those arms engaged and pushing forward, take your gaze toward the ceiling and maybe rock your head side to side. Feel some of those muscles in your neck. It's just a matter of moving those arms differently, and then you feel those different stretches in your muscles through your neck and shoulders. Now we'll reach them back behind us, interlacing, or in the alternative, you can grab onto your wrists and just kind of push your chest forward, pulling your shoulder blades toward each other. Lengthen your arms. And for those of you with, you know, wide range of motion, you can lift your arms away from your tailbone. But remember to breathe. If this feels tight and has taken away your breath, bring it back. And release. Oh my goodness. Circle out those wrists. Open and close your hands. Good. And then we're going to take our feet out in front of us. We're going to get into some nice deep hip stretches. So let's make our way there. We'll start with the feet. Actually, I'll go sideways so you can see what this looks like. I'm going to take first my left knee in and bent. And my hands are going to be back here just supporting me. I still have my abs engaged and my back really flat. And I'm going to take the right ankle onto my left thigh. Now exploring how you can stretch through this is as easy as moving the left foot or applying pressure on this knee. Oh my goodness. Maybe lift your chest closer. There's different ways you can explore this movement. Flexing and pointing your toe. And then let's take that right leg all the way around that left thigh. And yeah, I should face you. Then we're gonna take that left heel under the right cheek and then pull that right leg a little closer. There we go. So our knees are kind of stacked over each other, shoulders forward. You can embrace your right knee nice and closely here, taking this hand to the floor. If you want to add a really nice deep twist here, you just turn your body. And if you're feeling like you could take that left arm to the sky and to the outside of that elbow and turn and look over your right shoulder. Remember to keep that breath nice and fluid. Your right hand is back there as your kickstand. And then as we come back to center, we unwrap, sort of untwist here. We'll take that right ankle onto the left thigh, almost like you're getting ready to embrace a baby, right? So you can shift that left foot out a little bit if you need to. Take your elbow underneath your right knee and your left hand under that ankle. And again, we can move around here. Maybe even rock onto that hip a little. Yeah. It is a very awkward baby. Good. Play around with what kind of space you can find there. What kind of, oh, yeah, I lowered my knee a little bit. Wow, I can really feel that. All right, let's release that leg out in front of us. Woo-wee! All right, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we'll go ahead and do that same thing. Hands go back behind us. So we've got some stability. Bend the left knee or the right knee deeply, and then the left leg comes up there. So I'll go ahead and go sideways again. There you go. And again, it's moving here. And if this feels wildly different from the other side, don't be surprised by that. One side frequently feels a little different. You can move that foot around, see where this works. Maybe slide that leg down. Moving side to side. Really invite you to explore different ways that you can find that stretch. Holding yourself static in a pose sometimes can just really make you feel like, I'm not sure if I'm getting anything. All right, we're going to hug that leg right around the other. Tuck that heel under the other hip and come up to a tall seated position. Now, if being right here works for you and this is just exactly what the doctor ordered, you can stay right here. Otherwise, you can find a little twist, embracing that knee, placing the hand to the floor. A little deeper still, take that right hand to the outside of the knee. And on this side, I'm not sure that's going to be possible, so I'm just going to embrace this side. Remember to keep your breathing nice and fluid. And then as we release, we can come back to center. Oh my goodness. Outstretch both of those legs. Maybe just a soft little up and down or side to side, whatever feels good. And then we'll keep the feet as far away from your body as possible, but still being able to touch. So we've created this great big diamond. The ankles are out to the side, the soles of your feet are together, knees nice and open here. And there's a few different ways we can skin this cat too. So we'll reach our arms overhead. So pretend you have a great big yellow ball in your hands and you're going to try to reach it out to touch your toes. If it gets all the way out there and you want to embrace your feet and then just kind of soften your elbows, pulling yourself in, that's one way to do this. If you get to about your ankles and that's as deep as you can get, you just hang out right there. If you'd like to create a bind, you can slide your hands under your ankles and take the hands to the tops of your feet and then let your head fall forward. I kind of enjoy this bind. It feels like my elbows get me a little bit deeper into the pose. Relax your fingers on tops of your feet and just let your gaze go forward and focus on breathing. As we start to ease the hands either off the foot or out from under, we're going to use our hands to slowly walk our way back up. Oh my goodness. All the way up to a tall seated position. We'll go ahead and close the legs like you're closing a big book. And then we shift our weight all the way down to the floor. It's what you've been waiting for. We'll get ourselves all the way down there. Head to the floor. Pulling the knees in nice and close to the belly. You can give yourself a little sacral massage here. Maybe even circling your knees around a little to give that back a little bit more massage. Good. And let's go ahead, take that left foot right down to the floor. And then we're going to take the right sole of the foot up toward the sky. Now, once you get up there, if this directly out of my hip, I have a soft bend in my knee. If I go out at a little bit of an angle, my leg can go all the way solid and straight. So I'm going to go out at that little bit of an angle. But if you can come straight out the hip and keep a straight leg, go for it. I'll interlace the fingers. Now point your toes and flex them, and point them and flex them. Feel how that thigh changes tone. Like I feel mine get really solid when we're flexing there. And we're just going to relax the foot entirely, soften the knee just a little, and start to climb that leg. Some of you might make your way all the way up to your foot. I'm just about at my ankle, head and shoulders off the floor, relaxing my face. Now you can let that left leg go all the way out if it feels comfortable, and you get a little double extra stretch here. Good. Now let's slowly let the head, neck, and shoulders ease to the floor. Bend the right knee deeply and draw it into your body. Reconnecting, feeling that rise and fall of your belly into your thigh. We'll take the right hand on the outside of that knee and just kind of let it drift out. Let the left hand over here keep you stable. We're just going to open that leg a little bit more, sort of pulling the knee toward the armpit and over to the side a little. And now we'll bring it past the midline of the body, release the hand, and let the right leg go over to the left side. Both hips will come off the floor, don't worry about that. And then you can explore where you want to put your arms. Maybe they're like goalpost arms at shoulder, maybe rest it on your hand, on your side, whatever works for you, whatever feels comfortable. You're taking that little spinal twist here. And maybe the right toes come to the floor, maybe they don't. Maybe you need to bend that knee. Now we'll go ahead and bend that right knee deeply, resting the foot against the left thigh. We rock ourselves back to center. Let's place that right foot on the floor, draw the left leg onto the floor, and hands at your sides. We're back to a nice stable position. Let's draw that left leg in, push the left sole of your foot up toward the sky. Again, we have a little tiny bend in the knee. Fine, don't worry about that. If you want it to go out a little straighter, it might have to come out of your hip at a different angle. All right, let's see how it feels to let that left leg or right leg go out. Here we go. We're going to climb up. Climb up. How far can you get? So on this side, you can probably, well, if you're not watching me, and that's fine, but my right leg is hovering over the floor, but it's not painful. So I'm just going to let it be out there, sort of helping with the stretch. Looking toward my left knee. Good. Then we're going to walk the head, neck, and shoulders down. Let's take that left leg in nice and close to the body. Nice little hug here. Taking the left hand, pulling it closer, and then letting it go just a smidge out to the side and toward the left armpit. And we're going to have a little visitor. Don't worry about him. We'll take that left leg over to the right side, extending out that leg or keeping it bent. 6 of one, half dozen of the other, whatever feels good for your body today. Go ahead and play around with what feels good for me. Reaching out my left arm right here. Oh my gosh, I'm getting a great pectoralis stretch from that really challenging Ashtanga class yesterday. Now you can look out over that left arm, or you can look toward the sky. See what your body needs. Good. On the next deep breath, we'll shift our weight back. So both feet come flat to the floor, hips come to the middle of the floor, and now we can draw those knees in nice and close. My co-teachers, I'm telling you, pull those knees in really close to your body. So you feel the thighs almost resting against your rib cage. Then lift your head up off the floor. Let's get that last little bit of our spine. A nice stretch here. And then together, lift your legs toward the sky. Oh my goodness, nice big stretch. Head coming close to the knees. Then we'll bend the knees deeply. Let the head, neck, and shoulders go to the floor. Heels coming as close to your body as you can. We'll release the hands to the sides. Tucking the pelvis just a little bit here. We're going to press deeply into the floor with the heel all the way to the toes, right? And as we tuck that pelvis, then we send our hips toward the sky. Now, for bridge pose, you can rock yourself a little side to side to bring your shoulders under here. You can even embrace your wrists underneath, creating a little bind under there. Maybe rest your hips onto your arms. Then we want to really energetically pull the knees toward each other and lift just a little higher. Then as you release your hands out to the sides, we slowly take the hips to the floor, walk the feet together until the ankles touch, and let your knees go out to the side, soles of your feet coming together for a prone butterfly. Oh my goodness. You feel your back release a little bit. You feel the back of your head, your shoulders, your tailbone, and the sides of your feet relaxed on the floor. Just really relax here, settle in. Let the backs of your knees just drift toward the floor. Your belly rising and falling with your breath. Close those legs as if we're pulling a great big book. We'll lengthen the legs out, keeping the ankles as close to each other as possible, maybe the heels of your feet, maybe even the toes, and then reach your arms overhead for your first morning stretch. Remember that when you really tense up your whole body and really lengthen, getting as long as you can from fingertips to toes, feeling the back arch up off the floor. Take a deep breath here. Inhale. And exhale, hands will come past your face and just kind of rest on your belly for a moment. And one more time, let's squeeze those feet together, reach the arms overhead, getting nice and long here. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Feel every cell of that body getting a deep, 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 deep stretch. And then breathe. Inhale. Exhale, elbows coming down toward the rib cage, hands reaching out to the sides, and then you can shift your feet so that the right heel is toward the right corner of your mat and the left heel toward the left corner of your mat, and let yourself relax. Palms can be up toward the ceiling in an act of sort of receiving this relaxation. They can be down toward the floor. They can be resting on your belly as you find your final meditation through the rise and fall of your breath. Good. Keeping that nice focused breathing. And as you find stillness, you'll still hear sounds outside the home or inside the house. Or just feel air across your skin. Or just feel yourself becoming more relaxed, bone by bone by bone, muscle by muscle. As you start to bring your awareness back to your body, back to the room that you're in, start to hear even more sounds, or allow small movements to come back into your fingers, your toes, your feet, your hands. And just make your way over to whichever side feels most comfortable and tuck your knees in. Give yourself a little fetal stretch here. Just tuck yourself in. And you probably start to feel your breaths getting deeper. And almost immediately start your to-do list, thinking about what you're going to do the moment you're done with class. And that's okay. Bring your awareness to that and then slowly ease your way up to a seated position. You've been so nice to yourself today that it kind of feels good. Now you can start your day feeling a little bit more invigorated and positive about it. That's my hope anyway. Chapo sort of fell into a seated meditation pose while you were there. Let's take our hands to our hearts, heels of your hands, right to the tips of your fingers, really nice and energetically there. Almost like when you used to be able to put your hands on human beings. Remember that? Find that energy, being kind to yourself. Take a deep breath in and a really deep breath out. Thank you so much for being here to practice today. I hope you have a beautiful, productive, or completely unproductive day, whatever is you wish, and be off to it. Thank you so much. I'm going to share this practice again with you guys, so I hope you can have it ad infinitum. And I'm so grateful you were here. Have a great rest of your day.